Today we're going to be looking at some brand new Plants vs. Zombies plushes that just got released. As well, the company MCC has made some more Plants vs. Zombies plushes added to their newest set. As of only around a week ago, they actually made some more new Plants vs. Zombies plushes, and they made even more since then. And well, the plush that they just released is their Keychain plushie, which is the first ever keychains they're actually releasing. So yeah, first we're going to be starting off with the pea shooter. Now the leaf base on this plush overall looks pretty good. The leaves could be a bit more defined, but it overall looks fine. As of everything, it's just really nicely stuffed and everything. It could use just slightly more detail, but besides that, I think it's fine. And the stem also looks pretty good. I like the ring around the neck. And well, the main part of the plush is the head, and well, it actually looks really similar to their newest design of the MCC pea shooter. Most likely because they just took that design and turned it into a keychain form, and while the eyes aren't as far apart as the other release, meaning that this one actually looks better than the older release that is a normal size. And while the eyes are nicely embroidered on, the actual pea shooter's head is really nicely shaped, and the leaf on the back of the head is also well shaped. And while just like their other pea shooter plushes, it actually has a pea in the mouth, but this one's sort of weird. As well, for whatever reason, this one's a white color, and when you squeeze the head, it comes out of the mouth just like the pea does, except this one's just a white color instead of being a green color. I don't really know why they didn't make it a green color, as well that would have made a lot more sense than just having a white one, but yeah, overall, besides that, the rest of the plush looks pretty good. And well, for the actual keychain on this plush, it looks sort of weird, as well it has two rings around it, but yeah, it's a green color, and well, but overall looks fine. And well, here's also the sample version of the plush before the actual real plush got released. And while there's not too many differences, as though the only really main noticeable differences is that the head and leaves are actually a slightly different color. As though they're just a slightly different shade of green, and also the stem and leaf base is also slightly differently shaped. But besides that, the sample and the actual release plush actually look really similar to each other, which makes sense. And well, instead of having a normal green keychain like the actual release plush does, it has a black one, which is the exact same one that the rest of the sample plushes in this video also use. And well, if you want the actual release version of this plush, right now it's not really available on any main websites because it just got released. So it'll probably take a couple weeks until it's on some main websites like eBay, but for now you can't really get them easily, and well, for the samples, you'll most likely never be able to get them as older samples. Now next up we have the sunflower, and well, the leaf base and stem look very similar to the pea shooter. As well, the leaf base is basically just the exact same, and the only thing different about the stem is that it just doesn't have the ring around the neck. So those part of the plushes do look pretty good, and well, for the face on this plush, it also looks really nice. As well, the embroidery on the face actually looks really good, and it actually looks really accurate to the game. As well, I like how they embroidered on the open mouth. All the petals on this plush also seem to be nicely shaped and everything. And well, they're also a really nice shade of yellow, so yeah, overall, this plush looks really good, and it has a green keychain on it. And well, just like the pea shooter plush, there's also a sample of this one that just looks slightly different, as well the main differences are the shades. As well, the shade of a lot of the colors, like the petals, are just slightly different. Well, if you compare the two plushes, you could obviously tell they're just slightly different. And well, the leaf base and stem seem to be a little less stuffed than the actual release version, but besides that, they're basically the exact same plush with some really minor differences. But yeah, overall, for the actual release plush, it looks really good in my opinion. Now next up we have the sunflower head. Now this is just the exact same plush as the last one, except it's just the head of a sunflower instead of the actual full body, and the only thing that's really different about this one is that the petals are slightly bigger. As well, the face on this one is the exact same as the last one. The only thing that's really changed is that the petals on this plush take up slightly more space. And well, there's also a sample version of this plush, which is actually just the exact same as the actual sunflower plush. As well, the petals are the exact same size, and same thing with the face, so yeah, overall, this shade is also just slightly different. So yeah, this one actually has a little more differences than the last two samples. As you can tell, the petals are just a lot smaller, and they're also the wrong shade of yellow. Now next up we have the walnut. Now walnut is overall a very simplistic character, which is why this plush actually looks really good. As well, the embroidery on the face looks really nice, as well I like how they made the expression of walnut and everything, and I think they did a really good job with the embroidery and adding all the details that are necessary. As well, all the details on the face are basically perfect in my opinion. So yeah, overall, this is already a really good walnut plush. It's also the correct shape and everything, and I like how in the middle of the plush they made it slightly less stuffed. As well, by adding some sort of stitching in the middle of the plush, it makes it have a bit more detail, but overall looks pretty good. And well, this one has a black keychain on it, so yeah, overall, this is definitely one of the easiest plushes that they made, as well, since Walnut is a very simplistic character, it's very easy to make. And well, here's the sample of the plush, and well, the only really differences about it is the actual shade of the walnut. As you can tell, the actual shade of the walnut is a much lighter brown color, and the embroidery is basically just the exact same. So yeah, really the only differences about this plush is that the keychain on it is actually slightly longer, as you can tell, the chain on it is slightly longer, and well, the only other thing that's changed is the shade of brown. So yeah, overall, both plushes basically look the exact same, and for the release plush, it overall looks really good. Now moving on to the next plush, we have the zombie head. Now, instead of just making a full zombie plush, they just made the head of the zombie, and well, as you can tell, this was basically the exact same as their zombie pillow they made a couple months ago. Except that the keychain is just slightly less detailed, while keychains are much harder to put a lot of detail on, as well as a much smaller space. And well, the actual shape of the head on this one actually looks really good, as well I like how the top of the head is a bit more stuffed than the bottom of the head, and it overall makes it look pretty good. And while the embroidery on the face, like the eyes, nose, and mouth, overall look really good. I like how one of the eyes is bigger than the other, just to give it a bit more detail, and it overall looks great. And while I also really like the shade of gray that they use, as well, it represents how the zombie looks in the game a lot better than it would with a different shade, and while the actual keychain on it is the exact same one as the walnut. So yeah, once again, this was probably pretty simplistic to make, as well, it's just the exact same as the zombie pillow, except it just has slightly less detail. And well, there's also a sample of this plush that actually looks a lot worse. As you can tell, it's just a slightly brighter shade of gray, which in my opinion makes it look really weird. As well, I think that the shade of gray that they used on the sample plush just overall looks really strange, and it doesn't fit in with the rest of the game. And while the actual shape of the zombie head is also really bad, as well, the top of the head is just way too understuffed, and it seems that the rest of the plush is also a bit too understuffed. So yeah, overall, I'm really glad that they redesigned the sample of this plush, as well. If the sample was actually the final design, it would actually make the plushes look a lot worse, as well the actual release version looks great. So yeah, those were the newest MCC Plants vs. Zombies plushes that just got released. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please like and subscribe and comment down below which of these plushes are your favorite, and yeah, have a great day.